Welcome to The Explainer. What if I told you that one of the biggest ideas about getting ahead is that you should stop trying to get a bigger paycheck? Today we're breaking down a huge lesson from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the powerful idea that the rich don't actually work for money.
Let's start with a question, and it's a bit of a strange one. Would you work for nothing? This very question is at the center of a story about a 9-year-old kid who wanted to learn how to be rich and ended up with a job offer that was designed to change how he thought about everything.
So he gets this job, right? Dusting cans for hours every Saturday. And his pay? A measly 10 cents an hour. Now, this wasn't just about cheap labor, it was a test. His mentor wasn't trying to teach him how to earn money, he was trying to show him the trap of working for it.
Well, eventually, the boy got fed up, as you can imagine, and he went to confront his mentor. But instead of getting fired, he got praised. His mentor, the rich dad in the story, told him the whole point was to make him angry. He said that real, deep learning, it needs passion and needs that fire to make the lesson stick for good.
So what was this big lesson? What was the trap he was trying to illustrate? Well, it's a pattern that his mentor saw playing out all around him. A cycle that keeps people running their entire lives, often without ever getting ahead. He had a name for it, the rat race.
You probably know this feeling. The rat race is that endless loop where you work harder, your income goes up, but somehow your expenses magically rise to meet it. You're running faster, but you're not actually getting anywhere. And according to the book, this isn't just about economics. It's driven by two very powerful, very human emotions.
First up, there's fear. You know, that gut-wrenching feeling of not having enough money to pay your bills. That's the primary motivation that gets most of us out of bed and into a job, maybe one we don't even like. But then you get the paycheck, and a second emotion kicks in, desire. You start thinking about all the things that money can buy.
And this is how the cycle works. Fear makes you go to work. Then desire makes you spend what you've earned. That leads to bigger bills and more expenses, which in turn creates, you guessed it, more fear. And now you need a bigger paycheck. It's a loop. A raise doesn't mean you're free. It just means you've upgraded to a fancier hamster wheel.
And here's the core issue, the fundamental flaw in this whole system. Your income is tied directly to you showing up and doing the work. You are trading your time for money. So if you stop working, whether you get sick, you quit, you get laid off, the money stops. Full stop. The wealthy figured out a long time ago that this is the wrong way to build wealth.
Okay, so if that's the trap, how do you actually escape it? The answer isn't to just work harder inside that same system. It's about making a simple but absolutely massive shift in how you think.
This is it. This is the big idea that changes the entire game. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have their money work for them. So, how on earth do you do that? How do you put your money to work?
It all boils down to knowing the difference between these two things. And you can forget all the complicated accounting terms. It's this simple. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. The rich focus their lives on buying and building assets.
So what do these assets, these money-making machines, actually look like in the real world? What are the kinds of things that can have money working for you instead of the other way around? We're talking about things that generate income for you without you having to be there. Think about a business that you own but have a manager running, or stocks that pay you dividends every quarter, rental properties that bring in cash flow each month, even intellectual property like royalties from a book or a song. These are things that make you money even while you sleep.
Let's go back to our story for a second. After the boys agreed to work for free, they were forced to see the world differently. They started noticing something everyone else missed: discarded comic books being thrown away. So they collected them, started a little library for other kids, and charged a small admission fee. They even hired one of the kids' sisters to be the librarian. Without even realizing it, they had just created their very first cash-flowing asset.
And this, right here, is the ultimate goal of the entire strategy. You use your job, your rat race income, to buy or build assets. You do this over and over, piece by piece, until the money flowing from that asset column is enough to cover all of your monthly expenses. That moment, that's real financial freedom. It's when your assets pay for your lifestyle, not your job.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but how do we actually take this lesson and start using it in our own lives? Right now.
First, let's just clear something up. This is not an excuse to be lazy. Far from it. Building assets is incredibly hard work, but it's strategic work. And it's not about exploiting anyone. It's about achieving financial independence so you're not totally dependent on a single boss for your entire livelihood.
So here are 3 practical ways you can start building today. 1. Automate your first investment. Set up an automatic transfer, even a small one, into something like a low-cost index fund. You're building the habit and the foundation. 2. Think about a hobby you love. Could you turn it into a system? Could you create a process that someone else could eventually run for you? And 3. Find your own comic book opportunity. Look around for things other people overlook, assets that they see as junk, but that you could turn into cash flow.
Ultimately, the lesson from that little 10 cents an hour job is that every single dollar you earn gives you a choice. And it leaves us all with one really important question to ask ourselves. Is the money you're earning building you a bigger, better paying job, or is it building your freedom?